y'all, what's up? It's T&D and welcome to T&D Won't Shut Up,
where we discuss and debate relationship topics from a healthy couple's perspective.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel for weekly discussions and share with a friend or two,
or three,
or four,
or five,
or six, or seven, or eight, or...
All right, grab a cocktail and enjoy the conversation. So how you doing, baby?
I am doing amazing. We had such a great vacation in Mexico. We stayed about, 5 days?
5 days.
Y'all, did we ever gonna tell them what hotel we stayed at?
Let them know.
Y'all, we went to Temptations Cancun, y'all, and
it was a blast.
It was an absolute blast. They call it an adult playground for a reason, and it is definitely an adult playground.
But an adult playground that is appropriate for any level of adult. So,
yes.
Let's point that out.
Yes, exactly. We had such a great time, y'all. So if y'all have any questions about Temptations, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. So we're going to be discussing today.
We are talking about Ready to Love, Make a Move, Season 1, Episode 10, Mama Knows Best, y'all. This was such a great episode.
There was a lot going on in this episode.
So much, y'all. This was... My notes is 2 pages long, y'all.
Yeah.
And it could have been more. Yeah. But it was such a great episode, y'all. We cannot wait to talk about it. Let's get started, baby.
Let's get going.
All right. So the episode starts with Zadia talking to Cam. It basically starts off from the last episode. From the last episode where Zadia was talking to Cam and making her decision, the suspense of it all. So Zadia was talking to Cam, and she basically decides to keep him. I put on my notes that I understand her. T has another opinion.
My notes say, what the Alright? How could she possibly keep this dude around? After everything that he said, emotional unavailability, constantly talking about work. As a matter of fact, I don't think I heard a single thing to lead her to believe that he should be kept around, that there's any possibility of a future, and yet she still keeps him around. So I don't know. And I did have a note that she somehow interpreted him not being able to commit, to a long-term relationship as being vulnerable. I'm not buying that. No,
so I think the vulnerability part came at the end of last episode where he said something about I was overreacting. After he spoke to Tamika, he said I was overreacting, and I realized that, it's important that I stay in the present and not be so focused on the future or the past. And I think that's what she was interpreting as she was interpreting as him being vulnerable, but I hope that's what it is, because other than that, there was nothing else.
Well, later on in the show, we'll be talking about how things progressed. So,
yeah. But nonetheless, I understand her, because I feel like, honestly, what is Zadia's other option? Richard came too late. Don't get me wrong. And not only that, he was cool. Don't get me wrong. But he still wasn't it. He was a nice guy. I thought the date was great. But I feel like if they would have met earlier, or if things would have progressed earlier in the show, yes. But at this point, she's in with Cam. And not only that, we learned this episode, they got it in.
Exactly. So, which I'm going to go ahead and pat myself on the back, because I made that call last episode. And we got confirmation. So
let's clap it up for T, y'all.
All right. So next we had Sharice and Nick, right? I think Sharice had pulled Nick aside to give him his walking papers. And I was actually a little surprised here because, in the previous episode, she was just so focused on the physical with Nick that I think it was kind of clouding her judgment. But apparently, she made the right call here. The reality is Nick is young. He's not asking substantive questions. I think she started to recognize that, damn, I'm not even getting any additional information, and I am really just here for the physical. And in addition to that, I think she started to realize that, she's really aligned with Maurice. Maurice is a contrast to Nick. He's older, he's wiser, has way more experience, has children. And I think they just... even the style of dress that Maurice has, or the way that he carries himself. I just think that that's more of a grown man kind of thing.
That's a fly man. That
Yeah.
man's fly. He ain't
He's
fine.
grown on me. He's grown on me.
He ain't fine, but he is fly.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. He's doing
clean.
his thing.
He looks so clean. I'm like, Lord, this man look clean.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
now the one red flag that Sharice identified about, whether Maurice is doing it for the right reasons, not sure where that came from.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from because I'm like, what did he do or say to show that he's not doing it for the right reason? To me, Maurice came on the show so authentic. To me, he's not putting on for the show. He's not doing anything extra. He's just eating and being chilled. So I don't know. I don't understand where that came from, but yeah, I actually feel like she made an amazing decision by choosing Maurice over Nick and letting Nick go, because, like Babe said, Nick is younger, and I feel like Maurice is more aligned with what she's looking for, and they look good together at the end of the day. She looks like the trophy wife in his arm. He's an attorney. He looks nice and clean. They just look good together. It's fitting, and yes, I like this decision. I agree with her decision. I support it. Go Sharice.
I agree.
After that, Tamika tells the men, gotta go. And then she basically tells the ladies what's going to go on for the week. And the assignment for this week is that the ladies will be meeting the men's family and friends. So I was really excited about that because it's going to tell you a lot about, give you a good insight. Right, baby?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, seeing, I always say, when you meet a person and you deal with them one-on-one, you can get certain, first, the impression that they give you could be one way. Certain experiences that you have are predicated on the fact that you're just with that person. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you bring another person into the equation, a different scenario, a different environment, and things could be real different.
Yeah.
And this is going to present that, right? It's going to be different people's perspective. And then also, you're in an environment where you're actually interacting no longer with just that person, but that person around family.
Yes. All right. So the ladies are at the gazebo. Maurice brings his daughter and his cousin to meet Sharice. Cam brings his best friend Mario to meet Zadia. Don brings two of his friends, a lady and a guy. I don't know their names. I think Lakeisha was the lady. I don't know the guy's name, but he didn't say much anyways. To meet Ashlee. And then Tabari brings his mother and his brother. So let's start talking about Ashlee, Don, and his two friends.
Wow.
Ooh. So Don Melford asked Ashlee what made her choose him. And she mentioned some surface level stuff like eyes, the smile, and the confidence. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Nothing deep. Don also had a lady friend there named Letitia or Lakeisha, and she was doing entirely too much. I feel like she was kind of overstepping. I don't even know what their relationship was really. Is it strictly platonic? Do you think they had a history or something?
It just seemed a little suspect. She seemed to have some ownership over him. Or at least she felt she did.
Yes, because she said something like, I don't want him communicating with someone, texting and calling someone all day that he's not even sure is going to be there. And I'm like, what you mean I don't or I won't allow? Like, who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little strange to me, and I don't blame Ashlee for feeling some type of way. I think in this scenario, both ladies had their fault. They both was very, like, I hate using the word aggressive, but it was just kind of like catty. They were going back and forth.
I'm gonna just use the word aggressive. I mean, just argumentative.
Yes.
Overbearing.
It was bad. Like, you cannot put two ladies like that in the same room. That was not the friend that Don should have brought, to be honest, because it was a lot.
Yes.
A lot. This scene was freaking crazy.
It was.
Yeah. But yeah, I just felt like she had a sense of ownership and just saying, like, I would not allow Don to do this, or I don't want him to do this. And I'm like, who are you? You're just a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So she was very overbearing, right? To the point, and she specifically, Letitia, telling Ashlee that Don shouldn't be texting her or calling her a significant amount of times unless he knows that she's worth that investment, and that, like, who is she to make that determination? Because in my opinion, if Don is interested in Ashlee, then he needs to communicate with her on a regular basis. You need to show that you're coming for the person that you're after. So that advice, I just don't even agree with anything she said in that regard. Also, while this whole thing is going on, Donald is mute mouthed. Okay, how are you just gonna allow this to go back and forth and get to the place that it did? At some point you need to step in for two reasons. One is you're there with Ashlee, right? That's your girl. You need to make sure you hold her down. But also, this is your girlfriend right here that is clearly overstepping boundaries.
His lady friend.
Or his lady friend. Who's clearly overstepping boundaries, so go ahead and step in. I mean,
yeah, diffuse the situation. It was getting bad. And then the other thing is that Ashlee commenting on Don's clothing again. Like, I felt that's a conversation you have with Don. You don't have to have that with his friends or family. Like, just have that conversation with him. And the friend says, the lady friend, Letitia, says, Don has his own sense of style. And Ashlee disrespectfully insulted that man again. She said, I have a whole wardrobe for this man already. Basically saying his style is not up to par. And she is going to change him.
That is so disrespectful.
In front of his friends. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And also Ashlee made it all about herself. Talking about, wait, I'm choosing him. He ain't choosing me. Like, what do you mean he ain't choosing me? You're both choosing each other. Like, I understand it's a show and you got the choice, but she really has a lot to work on, okay? And I don't think she even acknowledges any of this. That's what I get the feeling of. She probably walked away from that situation. As a matter of fact, I know she did from a subsequent scene, feeling like she's right in these situations.
Yeah, but this scene was just a lot. And I don't feel that Donald, he was very mute. He did not defend her at all. And I just don't feel like Donald is the type of person that handles conflict well. I think that when something is uncomfortable to him, he just gets very quiet and don't even want to. He's not a confrontational person.
He's a non-confrontational person. Yeah.
And he just shut down, clearly. And Ashlee did not like it, nor did I. Yeah. Yeah. So the next scene is Zadia, Cam, and Cam's friend Mario. All right, baby. So what did you think about that scene?
All right. So the introduction to the best friend seemed cool. Nothing seemed off with that. I think through that conversation, Zadia came to, I guess, appreciate the fact that Cam is very disciplined, goal-oriented, that he could make a plan, execute the plan. I mean, this is what the best friend's saying. So
that's a good trait, though.
Yeah, and it is a good trait. It is a good trait. But we also know that there still has to be a balance.
Yes, exactly.
Which I don't think Cam is doing a good job with right now.
Or is he motivated? He's not motivated to do a good job because he don't like Zadia like that.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
So I think she asked the best friend, is he ready for a relationship?
Yes.
And that answer to me did not sound reassuring at all. It seemed very basic. It almost looked like they practiced it on the way to the date.
It seemed definitely rehearsed.
Yes.
That answer was rehearsed.
Yeah. Nothing there. As a matter of fact, it seemed very consistent with what Cam's been showing.
Exactly.
And he's not ready for a relationship. And then I believe his friend mentioned that he got married in 2 months.
He met his lady at the gas station and married her 2 months later.
Yeah.
While I do believe those things can happen, they're not good advice because usually you don't even know somebody in 2 months and it's probably not going to work. But so it's not reassuring advice at all.
I agree. When I hear stuff like that, and I get it, love at first sight, I don't believe in it, but but when people who kind of move in that way give me advice, I may take it with a grain of salt.
Of course, as you should, because it's not common that two people meet each other 2 months later, they're married and stay married. I know people who's married after a year and then they're done.
Yeah.
So, or even 10 years and they're done.
And
so
you just don't.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not the best advice to give. But I don't feel like he was giving advice. He was just basically stating his situation.
No. But what I'm saying is, if this is the kind of guy that's giving advice to Cam, or I'm just saying, take that with a grain of salt. Overall, though, I feel like that was a good little situation.
Yeah, it was.
There. And I think Zadia actually, walked out of there feeling a little bit more confident in the qualities that Cam has, you know, as
Right.
far as his ambition and drive and things of that nature.
And I think he brought a good friend along too, somebody who could speak to him. Yeah, I thought that was a good friend.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
I had no issue with
yeah,
it.
me too. The date was pretty
I
good.
think it was positive.
All right, so now Tabari, Vernisha, his brother, and his mom. This was such a beautiful date. I really enjoyed watching it. The chemistry between all of them was great. I have nothing negative to say about this date. I think it was beautiful. Vernisha handled herself well. She is just the classic Southern girl, right?
Yes.
Making you feel very comfortable. She carried herself well. She said, "Yes, ma'am." It was a beautiful day, honestly. And Ready to Love make a move history. Right, baby?
Yes, no, definitely well stated. I agree with everything that you're saying. Vernisha, like, you know, if I had to introduce a woman to my mother or family, you know, I would hope it played out the same way. That's how Vernisha conducted herself there. You know, Tabari obviously seems like he comes from a very structured family. You know, mother, very sweet woman. You know, of course, a little old school, because I think she had responded to Vernisha's question about communication by putting the responsibility on the woman to help the man become a better communicator. I don't disagree with that completely, but, you know, obviously, you know, when it comes to communication, we all have a responsibility to do the work, you know.
Right.
But, you know, that's a generational thing. I'm okay with that. But overall, great meeting. I think that the mother and his brother felt like, you know, Vernisha could be a good addition to the family. I'm sure they had nothing but positive things to say at the end of that.
I felt that she could be a good addition to the family. It was just so natural, baby.
It was.
That family chemistry was familying.
Yes.
It was really good. I felt like I was feeling it through the screen, y'all.
Yeah.
That was a really great date, and I appreciate watching it. Honestly, it was beautiful. Good job, Vernisha. Good job. And Tabari, he just seems like he just come from a good family, right?
Yeah.
It was nice. It was really nice. Very refreshing. Very refreshing.
That was good.
All right, so now Maurice, Charisse, he brought his cousin and his beautiful 25-year-old daughter. I thought overall it was a really good day. They spoke very highly of Maurice. What do you think about that, honey?
So yeah, I agree. It was a great meeting. Very warm, friendly introduction to Maurice's daughter and cousin. Also, you know, the fact that Maurice even brought his daughter. That says something right there, because a lot of people won't do that, especially in the early days, for sure. His family spoke very highly of him. They talked about him being a leader, being very caring. I believe his cousin said that he set the foundation for the family.
Yeah, and I think those are traits that ladies would love to hear about a man.
Absolutely. And I think the highlight, I mean, that's pretty big, but I think the highlight was that the family said Maurice has been speaking very highly of Charisse, and that, you know, he's treating her different than he normally treats women. I mean, what woman doesn't want to hear that?
Exactly. And the daughter also said that was the first woman he ever brought around her. So,
Yes.
I mean, that would make me feel good, to be honest. I also put here that Charisse says that Maurice reminds her of her own father. Her father's also name is Maurice. And it's something about they're both Sagittarius, so which is kind of
well, that's
pretty interesting. Yeah, it's very coincidental.
Yeah.
But overall, great day. I like it. I had nothing negative to say, right?
No, it was great.
And Charisse carried herself well. It was a beautiful date, honestly.
I think it definitely helped Maurice continue to progress in this relationship.
And open up, yes. I definitely agree with that. So that was good. So all the dates happened, and the second line band came out. Yeah, I love me some New Orleans. So
I gotta get to New Orleans.
Baby, we gotta go. Like, that second line band, baby, it was everything. It just brings back a lot of memories. I've been to New Orleans so many times, and I was wilding during that piece of the episode. But the ladies were dancing with their men. It just looked like they were having a ball. Everyone looked happy. I specifically saw Charisse and Maurice just look like he was kind of dancing.
Yeah.
They were just so cute. Everyone was cute. Well, except Donald and I don't know why I don't like Donald and Ashlee. I just don't think they're a good match, but I mean, everybody looked happy though.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add. I mean, it was great. You know, it was kind of surprising to see that everybody was vibing with their keeper at the same time.
Yeah.
We know that's going to be short lived,
Right.
but for the moment, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was. In the next scene, Vern and Tabari goes on this beautiful date on a rooftop in New Orleans. Her feelings towards him seems to be growing, especially after meeting his family. This date was also just a beautiful date. I'm thinking Vern and Tabari, this episode has been my favorite couple. I have nothing negative to say at all.
I agree.
It's crazy. What do you think about this date, honey? It was so beautiful.
Same thing. It was a great date. You know, it's obvious to me that if Vernisha had some reservations, you know, they might be loosening up a little bit.
Yes.
Definitely because of meeting the family, but also just Tabari just seems very intentional and very genuine. And I think she's really sensing that, and she appreciates that. Also, Tabari was very attentive, you know, when they were talking with one another. Vernisha was opening up about some people that she lost. You know, the way he reached over and put his hand on her hand and consoled her a bit.
It was beautiful.
That was a beautiful thing. And then one observation I made, and the reason this stuck out to me is because this is how I moved in my single days. Yeah. You know, I always would respect a woman. So even if I was affectionate or, you know, maybe touching that woman, I would do it in a tasteful way. Right. And he was actually hugging her from behind. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but he made sure that, you know, he didn't have his
genitalia.
His
genitalia was in touching her booty, her big booty.
Rated, okay? He ain't have the genitalia on that booty.
That ass. Yes. No, but this actually, we'll share the story on how we met. But this reminds me of when we met.
Absolutely.
Because that was a big, we were dancing and he was dancing with me, very tasteful, I would say that. Nothing disrespectful or anything like that. But we'll share that story one day.
Sure. But yes, so bottom line is great date.
Great date. And I also put in my notes that Tabari seems to be listening to Vernisha's needs and adapting to those, right? He's so much less jokey and playful and cracking jokes. Remember how he was early on?
Yes. And this is something she brought up as well, right?
Yeah, and he said, I'm being serious because she wants to see the serious side of me. Honestly, y'all, last episode we may have said something different about Tabari and Vern, but this episode, we feeling them, baby, right?
Yeah.
We feeling them.
Yeah,
we are. Well, yeah, it's a good situation right now. So, yes. All right, so now we're going to talk about Charisse and Zadia in this argument, y'all. Yeah. Woo, we got some tea. Tea. So Charisse talks about Dawn bringing a lady friend to meet Ashlee. I actually agreed with her points. We also have an episode to discuss friends of the opposite sex. So down below, let me know what y'all think about friends of the opposite sex in a relationship.
Whether it's acceptable.
Or what you feel about it overall. Because we do want to talk about that because we have our thoughts and our opinions about that. Nonetheless, Zadia comments on Charisse kissing LJ on the lips. Charisse went from 0 to 100 real quick. I was like, whoa, she was mad. They started arguing. And Zadia insinuated that she knows Charisse did more than that with LJ. So basically saying that Charisse was, they had sex. Basically, that's what I took it as, at least. Charisse calls out Zadia for having sex with Cam. So what did you think about that, babe?
All right, so
it's a lot.
Charisse, first of all, I agree with everything that she said. Charisse had made a valid point when she brought up the fact that, you know, it's not really appropriate to bring a girlfriend to an initial meeting like that because there might be some questions.
Yeah.
And it could be like, you know, who is this girl? Has there been any history? Have you ever liked this woman? Right? Has she ever liked you? Now, I get it. You know, they might be really good friends and we shouldn't necessarily come from any insecure place like that. But at the end of the day, it can pose some questions. And specifically in this situation where the girlfriend is overbearing, asking questions as if she has ownership over Donald. Like the minute a woman starts going there, now I got questions.
Yes, because honestly, the way she was acting, I think he hit it a time or two, or at least wanted to hit it a time or two.
There was something there.
Something was there.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a valid point. I'm not. So Zadia's response to that was like, "Oh, you're negative. You're always, pessimistic." And I'm like, "No, that's just a valid point that she made."
And she did make a valid point.
Yeah, but of course, that got things worked up a little bit. So I think Zadia had to come back and make a point herself, and so she pointed out that Charisse kissed LJ on the mouth. Now, I know she did that just to, feeling like she needed to come back at Charisse, but it's actually a valid point. I mean, how many people here kiss their friends of the opposite sex on the mouth? Yeah. I don't know many, and I personally wouldn't do it.
Right.
But Zadia also pointed out that she knows for a fact, it seemed, that Charisse had sex with LJ. So
that's what I take it as.
Yeah. So, but anyway, both valid points, but the way they went about it, of course, things kind of went off the rails a little bit. Yes. And one thing that we definitely got confirmation of is something that I pointed out last week. I'm patting myself on the back.
Give it to him, y'all. Give it to him, y'all. Go ahead, baby.
Zadia fucked Cam.
He was right because I didn't believe it, but
yes.
whatever.
And apparently, not just once, like they showed on that one episode when she showed up in the morning. They doing this shit every night.
Every night he is clapping them cheeks.
Yeah. So now I think have some insight. This is my opinion. We have some. I think we have some insight now into why Zadia is keeping Cam around when Cam is telling her time and time again that he is not interested in any serious relationship.
Yeah, because he's clapping that every night, so I get it. Yeah. But I want to bring a point up, baby, because Charisse is so mad at Zadia for the same thing she did to Zadia. Bringing up that Zadia was out that night with Cam. Zadia did exactly the same and just brought up that she kissed LJ. And Charisse was heated, but she did the same exact thing to Zadia. So now she knows exactly how that felt, because to me, in my opinion, that was wrong to bring those things up on live TV. Bring those in front of the camera. You should not have done that because they're going to use those scenes as we see now. So now, payback. And now she feels it. And, the petty side of me, which I really don't have a petty side, but the petty side of me, I feel where Zadia was coming from and why she brought that up. But it was kind of funny. Yeah. And the funniest thing, baby, when she walked away, she was like, "Kiss my ass." And Zadia was like, "Ain't nothing back there." What did she say, babe?
That's what she said.
Was like something like,
"Nothing there to kiss." Or something
yeah.
Like
You ain't got much of that either. Yeah. Child. She's like, "You worried about my vagina, worry about yours." Well, to me, that was a confirmation that she'd been smashing Cam. So
and we were actually due for a little bit of drama.
Yeah.
The show had been voided at. We got a little bit with Ashlee and Donald's friend Letitia. And now we got it.
Drama between the ladies in the house. They put these ladies in the house for some drama, though. Because they brought the 4 controversial ladies on the seasons of their season of Ready to Love, put them together on one roof. What do you think was going to happen? Especially Charisse and Zadia. But it was good, though. We got some tea. Some well-appreciated tea. But that's crazy. Kissing your friend on the mouth? And then she making it seem like it's nothing. A friendly peck. Ain't no such thing of a friendly peck. No. There's absolutely no such thing of a friendly peck. If you kiss your friend on a lip, please comment down below and tell us why. Please. We want to know. It's weird. Honestly. Yes. It's weird to me. All right, y'all. So Maurice and Charisse with a cute little pedicure date. So Maurice and Charisse went for a pedicure date. He says his family likes her. They talk about their travels and their future travels. And then the camera zooms into his feet. I'm just not a feet person. His feet look nice, but it was so unnecessary.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be a G-rated show.
But maybe. But overall, it was a really good day. It was super cute. So it was.
Yeah, I think it was a good date. They really seem to be connecting now.
Yeah.
I think they were even holding hands while getting the pedicure. Maurice seems, a lot more talkative than he was earlier on. He was asking about, where she would want to travel to and other things. I think, Maurice is striking me as the kind of guy that, he can be talkative, but it takes a certain level of comfort for him to get there. And I think they're starting to have that kind of comfortability with one another. And I just think Maurice is a clean brother. You saw him sitting there with his pedicure. I mean, I didn't look at his feet, though. I actually turned my face when I showed that scene. But, no, the way he presents himself very well. And I think that he's just starting to really win Charisse over at this point.
Yeah, that's the type of man she wants.
Yeah.
It was
a good day.
Overall, great day, great conversation. She seems smitten by him, right?
Yes.
And then I also feel that there's that feminine energy that comes out when he's there, right? So I thought that was a cute date overall.
Yeah.
All right, so Zadia and Cam's date. They went to a little cute kind of artsy restaurant. Zadia says she's attracted to Cam's ambition and drive. Cam says his friend likes Zadia. So Zadia asked him, "How do you feel about us?" And he says, "I'm rooting for us, but I'm also rooting for you." He just wants to see her happy with or without him. To me, he does not like Zadia. He's definitely trying to tell her that he's not interested in being serious with her. And that's what I took it as. Yeah. And for that reason, dismiss yourself. Release yourself from this man.
Yes, I completely agree. The date, it started well. They seemed really connected. Yeah. It was on a high for a minute. And I think Zadia genuinely does appreciate. I mean, who wouldn't appreciate a partner that's ambitious, goal-oriented, has that work ethic,
right.
But, this is exactly the excuse that he was using every time he was trying to find a way to get out the situation. So you got to beware. Yes, you like that, but, this is exactly why he can't offer you what you want. And then here we go with the same old thing. You go from this great start to the date to, well, I'm also rooting for you, Zadia. I want you to be good, And of course, she's like, what are you talking about? So, he just keeps finding his way to a place to remind her that he has no interest in a long-term relationship. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have the time for it. And he's not interested in it, you know? So she just has to listen. That's why I tell people all the time, when people say things, just listen to it. People say what they feel.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't want to hear it, or sometimes we try to interpret it the way we want to interpret it. No, take it for face value. This man does not want to be with you. He is not available. Now, the way he was delivering that information is kind of like, well, we could kind of continue this on the terms he wants to continue it on. Maybe some, occasional sex, a couple trips back and forth to New Orleans. If it works out, but at the end of the day, I don't think he cares either way. If it works out that way, okay, good situation. If it doesn't, he's not really checking for Zadia like that anyway.
I think he's attracted to her. He loves having sex with her. He likes what they have for now, but he doesn't see a long-term relationship with her. And he's basically telling her straight up he's not leading her on. He's very clear. He's very clear on what he wants from her. And I think she should follow suit. Listen to him and keep it moving. But maybe she's okay with it. Maybe she just want to cut buddy too. And while she's in New Orleans.
I mean, that might be the case.
Maybe. And if that's the case, do your thing, girl. Ain't nobody judging you. But, I mean, you already gave it to him still. But nonetheless, he does not want you. But I do feel like Zadia really likes him.
Yeah.
I will say that. I think she really likes him. I really do. And I feel bad for her that it's not working in her favor. But these kind of men, they will confuse you. He is emotionally unavailable. Clear. Stay clear, sweetie. Yep. Stay clear. Trust me, you're going to save yourself from a heartache in the long run.
Yes.
Yeah, she needs to let that man go. He's too wishy-washy. He's too on and off. He's too, he's not clear on what he wants. He's not clear about his intentions. He's pushing her away. Ma'am?
He's clear about getting to that house every night or whatever they're doing. You know, so she's seeing what it is.
And it is. What you see is what you're getting right now.
Exactly.
Let it go. Exactly. Go back to DC and enjoy yourself, girl. Yeah. Don't. This ain't it. This is not it.
I agree.
Ashlee and Dawn's date, y'all. Wow. This date, honestly, I'm not surprised. Ashlee aggressively asked Dawn how he felt about the friends' day, specifically with the lady friend, Letitia or Lakeisha. She was so emasculating, babe. Like, this was so hard to watch. But that DMX comment...
That was fun.
It was Brenda, Letitia, Linda, Felicia, Dawn, LaShawn.
I was dying. Oh my gosh.
It was so accurate.
It was. It really was. What you got to say about that, honey?
Yeah, so, where to start? So, she has no respect for Don.
Absolutely.
And we know that from everything about how she brings up his, style, his clothing, lack of swag, all this stuff in front of people. She just talks down to him. No respect, okay?
Absolutely not.
And then, in this particular case, once things started to get a little contentious, she starts with the hand waving, and I get it. I don't think it was right in his face, but it was still so animated. It was close enough. That's just completely unnecessary. And if anybody's been in a situation like that, it's going to escalate the situation.
Yeah, you should never talk to somebody like that. All the tilting, the body language, tilting of the head to the side. And Ashlee got some long Edward Scissorhands fingernails. And she was just pointing it all in his face. Not in his face, but, just animatedly talking. And it was aggressive. I'll be honest with you.
It was a lot.
And it was too much.
Yeah. And so Donald was, obviously was taken aback. I mean, who wouldn't? It's like a firestorm. And he was kind of struggling to convey his thoughts, as he's always done. The whole mute mouth thing. Actually, prior to this date, I just didn't think he even had the ability to convey his thoughts. But so he started getting angry. Obviously, as things started to progress, it looked like he was really struggling to keep himself calm. So that was, he might got a little temper that
and I think that seems like somebody who went to therapy. Remember when we was watching, I said I have a feeling he went to therapy.
Yeah,
because he looked like he was doing that 3, 2, 1. Yes. Let me calm down. I don't want to blow up. Let me calm down. So he decided to stay quiet, which is the same way he handled himself on the friends date with the Ashlee and Letitia. Like, he just stayed quiet. I don't think he does well with conflict.
Yes,
but I do think that if you have to do that, that is better than acting out.
Yes.
Getting quiet.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
You have to know yourself. You have to know where you can eventually get to, and it might not be a good place.
Yes.
So you calm yourself down. But what I did like is that once he did calm himself down, he was able to clearly convey, some of the issues that she has with respect to like disagreements.
Yeah.
He pointed out her inability to actually disagree without getting all animated, disrespectful, snarky. How she makes all these passive aggressive comments.
Yeah.
And he said that whenever that happens, he shuts down. And honestly, I mean, most people would shut down. You're either gonna shut down or you're gonna feed into it and make the situation worse.
You don't want
and honestly, it didn't matter how he handled this situation. She went off. And emotions were involved, and it wasn't going to change, right? The way that played out is how it was going to play out. I just believe Ashlee has some serious issues that she needs to work on. She comes out of these situations feeling like she's the one that was right and everybody else was wrong. So if you can't even acknowledge what's happening as an issue, how could you even begin to overcome those issues? So in my opinion, Donald, he might have his own flaws and everything, but
I'm sure he does.
But like we all do, but cut this woman off. You're gonna save yourself a lot of heartache and pain and everything that comes with dealing with a person like that.
Yeah, he definitely need to cut her loose. Honestly, for him to be with somebody like Ashlee tells a lot about his character.
Yes.
He has issues. And then he also has a friend that acts identical to Ashlee. So what is it about these women that you're attracted to? We got questions here, Don.
Yes.
Just because we're not saying nothing bad about you, we do have questions. But Ashlee showed her ass Your friend showed her ass, and this was just not good. Let her go. But as we can see in the preview, he's still there with her for next episode.
So we will see.
I hope that they don't choose each other. I hope that he lets her down and let her go and say, I don't feel like you're ready for a relationship. But because of the trend of the way he dates, and he says every relationship he's been in has been very toxic, I feel like he's still going to choose her. Because this is comfortable to him.
I think so. And, when I was watching that, the first thing I thought is, if I meet a woman who shows any of those signs, I'm gone. Immediately. Because that is just a prelude into what you're going to deal with. And it's only going to get progressively worse as you get closer. Because if that person doesn't work on it, and then you end up in a relationship, for those who have been in relationships like this, and I include myself in there, people who tend to be in a serious relationship and love treat each other even worse when they have these types of issues. So I would tell Donald, it's time to roll.
It's time to roll. And it's been time to roll. Yeah. It's been time to roll. But baby, that DMX comment.
That was, it actually was on point. And I think that's why it stung so much.
She said, but you called me DMX. I was like, oh my gosh. I was dying. Yeah. Amazing episode. Yes. Y'all. And we only have one more episode left to the reunion. I think maybe one or two. And I just don't really see it. So, who do you feel? I feel like Charisse and Maurice is going to choose each other. And I do feel like Vern and Tabari will choose each other.
I think so.
Zadia, I pray that you do not choose Cam. Cam, I pray that you do not choose Zadia. Ashlee, not Ashlee. Dawn, free yourself. Do not let Ashlee choose you, please. And honestly, I would love for him to do this on live TV. Let her go. She is not it. She's not healed. She's not ready. She needs therapy. She has issues. This is not the woman for you. Ashlee, go to therapy today. They also have BetterHelp, so go to BetterHelp. It's an online platform. But you need help, baby girl. You really, really need help. She's very angry, toxic. She doesn't even realize this, baby. She thinks everybody else is the problem, not her. But we all see she is the problem. This was a good episode, y'all. And I'm looking forward to next episode. It looks like a lot's going to be happening. This episode was a lot. And I feel like next episode seemed like it might be the end. I'm not 100% sure. But y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. But it's a lot that has to go into one episode, right? So they're going to put it all in. Jumble it all in like they did this episode. But it was a great episode. We got a lot of insight, a lot of detail. And yeah. So y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a great episode. We thoroughly enjoyed watching it. We had a lot of notes. It was really, really good. So y'all keep the conversation flowing and going in the comment section. Just comment, let us know what you felt. And we appreciate you guys for just listening. And please feel free to subscribe. We have a lot of content coming up. And have a good one. Happy holidays.
All right, baby. Until the next time.
We out.